Hello there! Welcome to another episode of Curihistory. This time we take a look at one of history's richest, if not the richest man to have ever lived, Mansa Musa. Let's travel back to the early 14th century CE. The mighty Mali Empire was still relatively young, only existing for around 100 years, but it already became a realm of splendor. One resource that the empire possessed in abundance was gold. So much gold. It just so happened that the south of the realm possessed some of the richest gold mines not only in Africa, but the world, while the north had access to salt, which was not only a spice, but vital to the conservation of food in the humid sub-Saharan climates. By controlling both of these resources, the sultans, or mansas as the local title was, gained unimaginable wealth. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and all the other wealthiest individuals of today possess merely a fraction of what the mansas called their own. Being so rich allows you to have eccentric hobbies, and Mansa Abu Bakr II was no different. He wanted to see what is beyond the horizon, quite literally, so he built a huge fleet and sailed towards the middle of the ocean. Neither he nor his fleet ever returned. Fortunately for his empire, he left Kanku Musa Kaita, his deputy and distant relative, in charge. This was quite common practice, as these deputies would rule the empire while the Mansa was traveling, for example in the pilgrimage to Mecca. However, since Abu Bakr never returned, eventually Musa took the throne for himself and became Mansa Musa. And like his predecessor, he had a vision. Something he had to fulfill to heighten the prestige of his empire even more. He would make sure the entire Islamic world knows his empire. Mali was by no means unknown to the rest of the world. Arab and Berber traders quite regularly made the trip south to Mali cities like Ulata. Nearby cities like Timbuktu and Gao were also as well connected to the Middle East as the Sahara Desert allowed a city to be. Even famous Islamic scholars like Al-Umari, Ibn Khaldun and Ibn Battuta would journey into the Golden Empire and write histories of its kings and people. Still, this was not enough exposure for Mansa Musa. Only a Hajj, a pilgrimage to Mecca, would secure that the whole world would be witness to Mali's splendor. And so he ventured in the year 1324 or 1325 with 60,000 men, all dressed in the finest silk robes, including the 12,000 slaves and mighty chests filled with tons of gold, towards Mecca. Neither man nor animal would hunger, as the Mansa provided food for each and every one, and every Friday he would erect a new mosque on his way to pray. Adhering to the 5 columns of Islam, he would lavishly donate to the poor on his way. He would also share his wealth with traders, buying trinkets, food, and books at every opportunity. He made sure that his path would lead not just through big cities like Cairo and Medina, but through small towns and villages too, so as many people as possible could get a share of his wealth. So limitless was his spending that Mansa Musa single-handedly devalued gold and silver in the Middle East, and inflation became rampant. Mansa Musa noticed this unwanted side effect of his trip, and thus he bailed out shops that had fallen victim to the inflation by borrowing money at high interest rates. Still, the gold price took a dent for decades. This is the only time in recorded history where a single person caused an economic crisis by spending too much money. If his goal was to show off Mali's wealth, then it's fair to say he more than succeeded. The Islamic world was left in absolute awe. So great was his fame that soon word of his magnificence would travel to Europe. Especially the Portuguese and Italians became interested in finding his empire, as Europe's precious metals had actually run quite thin at this point. And even hundreds of years later, Europeans would venture deep into Africa to find the legendary cities that once were part of Musa's realm. Back at home, Mansa Musa spent the rest of his life investing into his own empire. Large construction projects and measures to spread literacy and education among his people were taken with much success. His other big project was enlarging the borders. Gao had been a long-time rival of the Mali Empire, and Timbuktu was another prize worth fighting for. Fortunately, his deputy proved as capable as Musa himself, as Gao was captured while Musa was still on his way returning from his Hajj. Timbuktu was captured soon after, which gave Mali control of the richest trade centers in West Sub-Saharan Africa. But maintaining status quo was again not enough, so the Mansa immediately started construction projects in both cities. Under his rule, the already impressive University of Timbuktu would grow to rival the Library of Alexandria in terms of stored books. The building known as Sankore Madrasa is still standing today and can be visited. It is not known how and when Mansa Musa died, but he ruled for 25 years until 1337, when he was succeeded by his son. But history will forever remember him not only as the richest man, but also the most generous. That is, if you go by what the sources tell us. Always remember to take historical accounts with a grain of salt. Again, a big thanks to my wonderful artist, and of course to all of you viewers. I hope to see you again next time. Hit the subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss it. Bye bye!